Okay, so join me today as we make pizzelles or pizzelles. They're the lace cookies that are flat that come in a press. This was the original from Dulce, I think, from my mother. So you can see this recipe book thing is very worn and makes a lot of cookies. And there's 12 different recipes. There's recipes that are for thin and there's recipes that are for thick. So I'm going to make the original one that my mother made, and I'm going to go over that with you. I actually had to get a new machine, a new pizzelle maker. So I'm going to show you what I'm doing and explain the whole process, okay? So it's a dozen eggs. There's 6 in here. So the recipe calls for 12 eggs, 3 cups of sugar, vanilla, and this is anise, or you can use anisette, because Joe just told me today, right before this video, that he doesn't really like the anise. So I'm going to cut the recipe in half. I'm going to make half of it with vanilla and half of it with the anise. Salt, 2 cups of oil, 4 tablespoons of baking powder, and 4 cups of flour. So as I said, I'm going to divide it in half, and we'll make half with the vanilla and half with the anisette. Now what I'm going to do is I'm mixing this all now. We will not be making this for probably 2 days or so, because I actually want the flavors to incorporate, and then I'll come back and that's when I'll be making my pizzelles. This recipe, the one I was making, there's a lot of different recipes. You can make it with vanilla flavor, you can make it orange, citrus. The anisette is the original that my mother used to make. So I was making it and I was deciding I was going to use the anisette, and you use anisette liqueur, but I didn't have that, so I put Sambuca. So that's half the recipe I made. This is the anisette with the anisette recipe, and I'm doing the other half. I split the recipe in half. I'm going to make this one vanilla flavored, and towards the end, because where you mix it, you have to keep it at least 2 or 3 hours for the flavors to incorporate. So this one I did, but I'm going to probably leave it at least 24 hours, and the more I could probably do it in like a day or 2 days. So I'm going to at least keep it overnight. So the recipe, again, this is half. So I did 6 eggs here. Okay, to my 6 eggs, I'm going to add the whole recipe is 3, but I'm going to use 1.5 cups of sugar. And as I was saying before, and I just want to mention this again, I keep my sugar in these containers. This was the Nestle Toll House. And then I mark them. This is the flour. And so I take it out of the bag, and then I put the expiration date on, and it seals it, and there's no issues with the bags and everything. So it's my own system there. So I'm going to beat this up, okay? This is, what's funny? I have the KitchenAid, and this is my handy dandy little Hamilton Beach. Okay, so this is the 1.5 cups of sugar to the 6 eggs. Okay, that's pretty good. And then I'm going to add, so the recipe again calls for 2, but I'm going to do 1 cup of oil. So I have it all measured out for you. The 1 cup of oil, and my hands are clean, but I'm going to try to get everything out. That's my type A personality, a little crazy. So I added the oil. I'm going to beat this up a little bit, and then I think then I'll add the flavoring in. You know what? I'm going to add the flavoring now. So the other one I did the anise, and so this one I'm going to use the vanilla, and I'm going to do, that's the top of the thing. I'm going to do 2 teaspoons. But you know what? I always add a little bit extra for flavor. That was more like 3, but it's okay, because I can't take it out now, so that's the end of that. And let me put this back so it doesn't get ruined. So I'm just going to beat this up. And you know what? I was talking about the baking powder before. Oh, wait, I guess I should do it on this side because my plug's there. Oh, that's good. So what I did now was, recipe again calls for the 4 cups of flour, but I did 2 cups of flour here, and it's 4 tablespoons of baking powder. And just when you're buying these, just check the expiration date, because you know when you buy it, and if you don't use it for a whole year, if you don't bake all year, they expire. So make sure, don't do all the work and then have it that you can't go through. So this one is, in here I have 2 cups of flour and 2 tablespoons of baking soda and just a little pinch of salt. So I just mix this together here. And what I'm going to do is gradually, let me take this off because I don't want to make a mess out of this. Oh, I can. Okay, so I'm going to put this here so it doesn't make a mess. And I'm just going to pour a little bit at a time. That other batter, I did a lot of it, and it was a little hard to go in. So I sift it. I always sift it to make sure. I'm going to put a little bit more flour. So I don't know if you really need to see this, and then I'll just do a little bit, and then we'll come back and we'll mix some more. So you'll see here, you see where you get those little pieces of the flour? I don't want that in. Okay. So you're going to see that the batter is getting thicker, almost like a pancake batter. So I'm just going to go through, incorporate this. I guess I can go higher, but I want to do it slow. I don't want the flour to go all over. Make sure you have a big enough bowl, because if this was the full recipe, it would be double this. So just make sure. And if you don't have a big enough bowl, you know what? You could actually use like a big saucepan. Just don't make it that it's, what do you call that? Non-stick. You don't want to scratch it. But if you have like a stainless steel or the farmerware, you could actually mix in there and then it, move it over. Okay, so I'm smelling the vanilla, but this anisette almost smells like if you go into an Italian bakery. Okay, so that's about good, I think. And now I'm going to clean these beaters. So you're going to see the consistency is a little, I'm going to try to clean this again. So this is one full recipe. So it's 12 eggs, 4 cups of flour, the 2 cups of oil, then your flavoring, and 4 tablespoons of baking powder. So I keep saying again, I shouldn't keep saying that. So I did a half a batter of vanilla and I did half a batter of the anisette because my husband doesn't like anisette. So what I will do, now I'm laughing. So what I will do, not right now. So this has to stay, I'm gonna at least keep it 24 hours, maybe a day and a half. So all the, what do you call that? Flavors incorporate into and makes the cookie really, really nice, the Pizzelle. So what I'll do is, just so I can distinguish after, one of them, I'm not sure which one, I'll put a little bit of food coloring in. So the vanilla one will be one will be white and one, will be a little bit of a color. Maybe I'll do red or green for the holidays. Okay, so these are now both, you're gonna see, this is the anisette one. I transferred it into this bowl, and then this one is the vanilla. So you can just see the consistency, okay? They both smell really good, I think, anyway. All right, and I'll be back with my Pizzelle maker, so you don't have to put that in, Joe. Okay, so I measure out like it is a little bit less than a tablespoon. Kind of have to play around with it a little bit to see if it makes enough or not enough. And then I just go in. This is the newer machine, but even though it's like Teflon or it's supposed to be not stick proof. So now I hold that down. And then sometimes this time I didn't. I was trying to use that timer to measure it to get an idea. But I pushed it in a little bit. And it's varied, to be honest with you, because the one with the vanilla took a little bit longer to cook, and the one that had the anisette with the Zambuca, that one took less. So you can use a little knife. I actually was able to pull it out. So it is, what do you call that, stick-free, or, but I sprayed it a little bit with Pam. So these came out nice, so you kind of have to just play around with them to go through. Some came a little bit darker. Once in a while it would stick, so then I would wipe it down, and then you would have to respray it, as I said, for this recipe, I took the recipe and I split it in half, and I did some with vanilla and I did some with the anisette or the anise, and what I would just use was a white cloth that was clean, just to wipe it down so that it wouldn't stick. And then, as I said, I would just spray it a little bit with Pam. So I used the Pam spray, And you notice I just used a very little bit. I don't remember. I don't know if this. I can't remember which one. If this is the anisette or the other one we went through. But they're nice to make. And it goes pretty fast once you get used to it. So you have to, once in a while they came a little bit big or a little bit small, or, back and forth. And then I was holding it down. I try to have a wet cloth to go through there. I'm not sure which one I like better. And I see, again, I was trying to use the timer to see. And then once in a while, if you see on the edge, you'll see a little bit coming out there, but not much. And then again, I was just using my hands, but if they stick a little bit, you can just use a knife to pull up. But they are warm, and if you wanted to roll it and like put it around a cone shape, or like you can put it on a cupcake tin and just go around the end, it'll actually take the shape of a cup, and you could put ice cream in it or whatever else. So that's some of them. I actually think I made close to 10 dozen, like close to about 120. So that was pretty good out of that mixture. So thanks for joining us, and Joe's getting this. I'm getting the seal of approval there, I hope. Okay. And thanks again, and bye, everybody.